To other news now. A notorious prison, which has housed some of the most dangerous men in the country, has officially closed today. Peterhead Jail was the scene of serious rioting during the 80s. A new super jail, which has been built next door, will open early next year. Rachel Stewart looks back at the history of a prison widely regarded as the toughest in Scotland.
Way up on Scotland's northeast coast, just outside Peterhead, there stands a grim grey prison built to hold the living dead.
Built at the end of the 19th century, Peterhead Prison was always a tough regime. Then a small train carried the convict labour to a local quarry where they worked under armed guard. And according to the author of a new book about the jail, conditions were austere.
In the early days, when it was built in 1888, it was a really formidable fortress where people were contained in very primitive small cells, poor heating, poor food. It was certainly not a place that anyone would want to spend any time in.
Just look up to the camera, thank you.
Some of the most dangerous men in the country have been housed here. Double murderer Donald Forbes caused a scandal when he got married while still serving his sentence. Celebrated artist and convicted killer Jimmy Boyle, another infamous inmate. This man spent nearly 3 decades in the jail, in his view, the toughest in Scotland.
It was where the hardcore went, the ones that they reckoned were going to be the cream. Get them away out our sight up there. But you remember the faces, all the guys, all the stories, all the things that you learn.
But for many, this is how the jail will be remembered, with serious rioting during the so-called hate factory years, when relations between some prisoners and staff were at their worst.
This officer was being assaulted on my second flat. I ran up the stairs to help him, and I was met by a prisoner who was carrying a table leg, 3x3, and I got clunked out of the head and was knocked clean out.
And there was more to come when inmates held an officer hostage for 5 days. The nation watched as Jackie Stewart was dragged across the roof. In the end, the SAS swooped in during the night to save him.
Well, only I look back and wonder if I could have done anything different, you know. But it doesn't bother me much now, like very little. It did for quite a while, which I didn't think it would. I thought I'd be okay, like in just a few weeks, like.
By the early 90s, a new chapter for the jail when it carried out groundbreaking work with sex offenders. And a decade ago, hundreds of people campaigned to save the prison from closure, as slopping out and decaying conditions threatened its future. Now, with its new replacement waiting in the shadows, this formidable fortress is soon to be demolished. But there's no doubt that it's left its mark on history.